Ben here with the PointByPatrol, and today I'm going to show you how to install the PRL Helical Air Oil Separator. But before we begin, I just want to comment on the quality of this kit. It's very, very well made. It's actually made in-house here in the USA, and it's created by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. So you're not getting any kind of rebranded products or anything like that. They actually make these and send them directly to you. And I've got to say that the quality of the kit overall and of this piece are incredible. And I'm really looking forward to trying it out on my car. So let's go ahead and jump in. To start, I thought it would be a good idea to take the unit apart so that you could actually see how everything works. This helical portion right here literally just pops in using these O-rings. It doesn't spin out or anything like that. The cap comes right off. The kit comes with this bracket as well as these lines and hoses and miscellaneous hardware. You are going to need some tools obviously to start, and I've got those laid out. You're going to need an 11/16 socket, a 19mm socket, a 10mm socket, a 5mm hex, assorted ratchets, as well as pliers, and a torque wrench. So I have everything apart here, but I do need to put it back together. And just to show you, this is actually how you would empty your kit. This slides into here, and to slide it out, you really just need to get your thumb inside of here and you can pry it out that way. But to put it back in, you're gonna press it down until you hear it seat, and then you simply screw the lid back on. So you will need to remove this in order to drain it. It does have a drain plug here at the bottom, but their instructions specifically state that you're going to remove this. So I'm gonna tighten it back up, and you just go just until it stops. You don't need to wrench on it or anything like that. But the first step is going to be installing the fittings onto the unit before we go to the car. The first step of assembly is to install the straight fitting. It goes right in front here. Make sure that it has the rubber gasket that goes in between. And you're going to thread that on, and I'm going to start it here with my 19 until it's a little bit snug. And then I'm going to take my torque wrench, and this particular fitting has a torque rating of 8 to 10 foot-pounds, so it's not a whole lot. I'm gonna probably shoot for 9, so I'll go right in the middle, setting my torque wrench to 9. I'm gonna hold this down, and there we are. It doesn't take much at all, so that's now set. After you have the straight fitting on, it's time to install the banjo fitting, and it needs to be at a 30-degree angle. In this case, this is to my left, with the straight fitting pointing straight down. So we're going to get our copper washer, then we're going to slide on our fitting, or go with our second copper washer. We're going to screw this in, and then we're going to take it over to the bench vise, and we're going to use a towel to protect the outside of the finish here so that it doesn't get scratched up. But the torque spec for this is 28 foot-pounds. And while we torque it, I need something to hold it that's strong enough to hold 28 foot-pounds. And I'm also, while I torque it, I'm gonna have to hold with my finger to make sure that the fitting doesn't move. So we'll go to the bench vise now. I've got the unit locked in my bench vise here. I'm just using a thick welding glove to protect the finish, and I'm holding my thumb up against the top fitting. And there we are, we're torqued to 28 foot-pounds for the top fitting right there, and this is an 11/16 size on the top. Now that both fittings are torqued to spec, I'm going to show you again, this is the orientation in which these need to be. Now it's time to go to the car. We're going to start first by installing the hoses after some light disassembly underneath the hood. The first step, if you've got the engine cover, is to remove the engine cover. In my case, this is a bolt from the engine cover that I'm going to need to remove so that I can get access to this harness. We're not going to be unplugging any connectors here. We just want to be able to move this thing out of the way so that we can get access to this hose right here. This is the hose that goes from the valve cover down to the intake manifold. So this gives us enough wiggle room in this area to get underneath this so that we can get to the hose clamp that goes to the top of this. So I know it's difficult to see, but you're going after this hose clamp here at the top. and you're just going to slide it back like that. And just a word to the wise, if you've ever messed with any kind of vacuum hoses on a Honda, they are a huge pain to get loose. It's almost like they're glued on. And so what I recommend for that is a larger set of pliers like this, so that you can squeeze the hose and kind of rock it. And that does help break it loose, but you've got to be really gentle with these so that you don't end up crushing your plastic valve cover here. So I'm going to start by rocking this just gently back and forth. I'm going to start pulling on it at the same time that I'm rocking. And then I'm going to check my progress, and there I am. So I've got that off, and now I've got to get the bottom side off. This down here on the intake manifold, that's the next hose clamp that we need to pull back, and then we're going to have to work the hose off of the intake manifold. It does have a little protector, a plastic protector that goes around it that's part of the intake manifold, which makes it even more difficult to get in there. So in order to back that out, I'm going to use needle nose pliers for the whole hose clamp, and then I'm going to have to use needle nose pliers to rock the hose back and forth so that I can pry it off of the intake manifold. Okay, so top tip. It was very difficult to get pliers in there, and by difficult I mean you can't. So you can use a small flathead, and I just pried against the intake manifold to push the hose off. So now the hose is out of the way. So the next steps to install this longer hose that comes with the kit, you want to make sure that the arrow is pointing down on the check valve. And one note on the check valve, the Mishimoto and the PRL kits, they both have check valves. This is my old radium bracket, and I took the radium kit off just because it wasn't really doing anything, and it looked like it was leaking more externally than it was catching any oil, whereas the Mishimoto and PRL varieties that actually have this check valve don't have that problem. Also, the radium bracket goes exactly where you would mount a can flex if you planned on running ethanol. The PRL bracket does not get in the way of the can flex. Henceforth, you can use the can flex and have the PRL Helical AOS separator installed on your car. It's kind of almost like they were thinking about that before they came up with their design. So I'm going to slide this onto the lower bung on the intake manifold, and then I'm going to put the clamp on it. And by slide, I mean I'm going to get some Windex and spray it either on this or on the bung itself, because it's a really tight squeeze. So I'm going to need to get something that helps lubricate this so that it slides over a little bit easier. Windex was the trick, and I was able to slide it on. Now I just need to slide the hose clamp into position. The next step is to remove this rear bolt that goes to the coolant overflow tank, and this bolt back here that holds this harness bracket to the frame. You won't be reusing this hardware. You're going to be using the hardware that was provided with the kit. The next steps to install this bracket, it's going to go right to the same mounting areas that you just removed the two bolts from. The screws, though, are two different lengths. There's a short one and a slightly longer one. The longer one goes here to the coolant expansion tank. I also had to remove the radium bracket. Just kind of had that there to show you where the radium can would sit versus where this one would sit. But I've got that removed now, and I'm going to start installing this bracket. 3-inch extension is going to come in handy here just to make sure that you've got everything tight. And there we have it. Now the bracket's installed and we can install the can. I've got the can ready here. I've also got the supplied hardware, and these are 5mm Allen. Set those there for just a moment. Now you're going to start installing your hoses. I'm going to start with this one first. I'm unsure of the orientation of this one at the moment, so I'll test fit that in a second. We're going to utilize the Windex trick here yet again. I'm just going to spray a little bit of Windex inside of this hose so that it makes it easier to slide over this bung. All right, so I've determined that this is the orientation in which this hose goes, just for your reference. We're also going to apply a little bit of Windex inside of this too, just so it's a little bit easier to slide on. I'm going to start on the valve cover side. That's it. And that's it, the can's installed. We just gotta put our engine cover back on if you've got one. In my case, I just need to slide this back in and drop in my 10mm here. And then push our wiring harness back in. And that's it. I think it looks great. It's ready to rock and roll. So the next step here is to start the car, make sure that nothing's leaking, and keep an eye out for any kind of check engine lights or anything like that, or any drivability issues in the meanwhile. PRL also recommends checking the oil level inside of this after say the first 2 weeks. Just take a look, see where it's at. If it's up to where the helix starts, that means it's time to dump the contents of this. And in order to do that, you are going to have to disconnect your lines here and here. And then these 3 5mm Allen, you have to remove the can, pour it out, and reinstall it. The hardest part about this installation was just dealing with the hoses. Everything else was extremely easy. You should be able to get in and out with something like this with the proper tools in about 30 to 40 minutes. And even with filming, it probably only took us about an hour. And that's having to move lights around, move the camera around, so on and so forth. Now, another thing of note, PRL builds everything with the track in mind. That doesn't mean that it's not safe to use on the streets. The track's probably the hardest environment that the car is ever going to see, so they need to make sure that they build their products to those specifications while also maintaining daily drivability, and that's something that they do every single time. And I will say, this is not a sponsored video or anything like that. I paid for this catch can with my own money. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.